Ladies and gentlemen, released in 2006, dubbed the Satria replacement model, first offered with Proton's proprietary CamPro 1.3 and 1.6 engines. Let's have a revisit of the Proton Satria Neo CamPro 1.6. The Proton Satria Neo CamPro 1.6 is powered by Proton's own CamPro 1.6 engine. It offers around 110 horsepower and 148 Newton meters of torque. There was also a 1.3 version with 94 horsepower and 120 Newton meters of torque that reportedly was a bit lethargic in its daily movements. So the 1.6 was the one which was a hit amongst youngsters back then in 2006 to 2007. I still remember back in 2007, my neighbor had just finished his SPM and was given a black, or I would say a midnight blue Satria Neo 1.6 in which he used to drive to his college to and fro every day. Hui, jealous bahang masa tu because I really wanted the Satria Neo last time. It was a modern, contemporary, sporty, stocky and somewhat affordable hatch. The Proton Satria Neo was launched with a fitting tagline for it. Desire has a new name, signifying the continuation of desire towards youthful, three-door compact hatches which started from the days of the old Proton Satria, the Mitsubishi era. The Neo was developed in-house by Proton, where we had conjured up expertise acquired from Lotus for the chassis and for the suspension setup, giving the legendary Lotus ride and handling, an in-house developed engine, an in-house designed look which still holds up right up to today in 2025, where the Neo still looks fresh and fierce. Back in the day, Proton differentiated their trims using a very simple and straightforward naming method, namely the L line or sometimes baseline B line, then going up to the M line and stepping up towards the high line, the H line, where today it would be represented by the premium of flagship or flagship X models in a certain model lineup. The Neo was also sold outside Malaysia, as you can see a few countries outside. And one thing that stood out to me for the Proton Satria Neo was not only its looks but also its choices or options of colors. Just look at that, 5 fun colors to choose from. Color is something which is becoming rarer nowadays in the car world, where most car makers have many shades of grey, many shades of black, many shades of white and many shades of silver. Back in the day, warm hatches like the Satria Neo received lively, bright colors to go along with it. And you should see iridescent white. It's amazing under the sunlight. So this was one standout option or feature which I loved in the original Neo. And as you can see here, there is also one color option which was offered on the M9 models of 2010. It looks like a grey. It looks like a dark purple option. I do not know what color is this called, but this along with liquid orange remains two of my favorite hues in the Proton Satria Neo lineup. The Proton Satria Neo features a roundish, stocky, muscular and I would say a bit of a bulbous appearance. Coming to the front, you have a pair of tiger-like headlamp eyes. So this really contrasts with its roundish appearance because suddenly you have this sharp and forceful looking headlamps, which was a huge departure from Satrias of the old. Satria lama macam GTI and all that, dia punya lampu ala-ala bentuk bujur macam ulas durian kan. But in the Neo, to represent a more youthful and a new offering of spirit in Proton, this suits it very well. One thing that I really like about the Neo is that its radiator grille is small and slim. This is in stark contrast to today's car where this grille spans nearly half. It doesn't matter what brand, all of their grilles span nearly half of the front bumper. So this one is a very good design choice. This diamond-like honeycomb appearance continues to the bottom of the front fascia. There's continuity there. And these two sort of pincers on the bumper remind me of the Satria GTI's front splitter. Ada dua bahagian macam ini. It's quite a good continuity of design. A bit of inspiration there. One thing that I still find funny and do not understand right up to today would be the placement of the main beams on the headlamps of the Satria Neo. If you look at the white car and the orange car, those are the actual main beams servicing you from night to night. You would think that the main beams would be placed on the outer end of the car because obviously you want it to cover more width. But no, the lamps on the outer side are actually the high beams, reflector style. The ones which are illuminated now are the main beams in a projector setting. There could be arguments for it being placed closer together. Maybe the lights would merge and create a stronger beam. However, I still find this funny for two reasons. Number one, I would always think that the owner has forgotten to turn on his main lights. Dia hanya buka lampu senja saja, which is the first click on your stalk. The second click should take you to the main beam, and I always think that the owner has not done that. Padahal inilah lampu yang sepenuhnya. Number two, this placement, close together, kind of like googly eyes, do not emphasize the width of the car, especially in the CPS model where it has these flat wheel arches and an aggressive bumper design and whatnot. It does not do justice to the overall look of the car when the headlamps look like googly eyes. And I see this being continued in the Proton Preve's brake lamps. As you can see in the picture above, the Preve actually has a stocky and quite wide rear end. However, when the brakes are pressed, the brake lights light up. Gosh, it's just two little bulbs on the inward side of the boot lid. It does not emphasize the width and stockiness of the Preve very well. And the trend continues in the Proton X90's headlamps as well. If you look at it closely at night, the LED headlamps are situated inwards. It's closer to the grille rather than closer to the wheel arches, therefore not quite giving justice to the width and the size of the already huge X90. So the next time you're on the road, cuba perhati ketiga-tiga model ni. Apa pendapat anda? A source of controversy, these bling-bling turbine wheels, well, were received with mixed reactions upon launch. Some loved it, some hated it because it's a completely new design, and you have to remember that in the mid-2000s, towards the end, hip-hop culture was very, very prevalent. So this was a characteristic of the 2000s era where bling-bling and sort of a new futuristic kind of concept in items was very prevalent. I personally love these turbine wheels. I don't know about you, so what do you think of these wheels? Do you love it? Do you not like it? Leave a comment below. This is a very unique design. It's a very well-known fact that these are directional wheels. That means these patterns are specific to which side of the car you are on. So we are on the right side of the car, and this is the correct configuration of the wheel, whereby these fans have to be flowing backwards. So when the wheel is spinning, these fans appear to be slapping the road. Now when you go to the other side, it's also the same. It's like this. So if a wheel is mounted the other way around, where the turbines curve to the front, then tak betul lah sebenarnya. So the next time when you see a new CamPro on the road, try to usah-usah dia punya rim. Betul ke tidak dia pasang ikut arah yang betul? So that's one, directional. Number two, I think I have a speculation that these wheels were inspired by the Proton Satria Cabriolet's wheels. If you see the Satria Cabriolet, it has these sort of fan-like elements as well, and it's also in bright chrome. So if it's true that it's inspired from the Satria Cabriolet, well damn, Proton did put it to good use by having it inspired into the Satria Neo. The stocky and muscular stance of the Proton Satria Neo is more evident when you view it from the side. Look at it, short front overhangs, a shorter rear overhang, a tiny little spoiler, and proportions which are frankly roundish. Look at the front, look at the rear, it sort of curves into a compact little shape. So the Satria Neo is actually more compact than the Satrias of the old. The previous Mitsubishi generation Satrias were, I think, wider and flatter and had more maneuvering room inside once you are seated inside. However, it reminds me of something I saw many years ago, around 2007. I was driving past an international college where it's very well known amongst Arabic students, some from Sudan, some from Africa, and as you know, these people are really tall. They are, what, 5'11", 6 feet, and I still remember it, an orange Satria Neo just like this. The driver emerged, damn, he was so tall. The passenger emerged, he was also very tall, and I thought that was it. Sekali, the front seat folded down, out came two more dudes of the same height from the back. So I don't know how they got into there in the first place. I don't know how comfortable the ride was, but it's just to say that the Neo actually, yeah, it gets you up and around daily despite its very compact size. Proton acquired 100% stake from Lotus in the year 1996, and since then, Proton cars have been imbued with Lotus-like design elements, very evident on a sporty hatchback such as the Satria Neo, where you have these Allen key rivets, which are not real, but adds a touch of design to the car overall. This, you can find it also on the gear console and also the steering wheel. Same design element. One more source of controversy. I personally am on the fence. Just like the front, the rear of the Satria Neo to me is one of the most evergreen and the most successful designs ever to have come out of the Proton stable. These two rear bulbs or lamps really are timeless. You do not need other design elements to complement it. It retains its signature decals. Satria Neo 1.6 and handling by Lotus. This one, especially the Satria Neo decal, is very hard to come by nowadays. So I'm very glad that the owner has decided to leave it on despite the chrome accents slowly flaking off, but never mind, it adds a bit of character. Moving up, you get a really tiny high spoiler over here, which I think suits the car very well. The one in the Neo CPS was a bit overdone, was very big. This one is just nice, and this was only offered on 1.6 models. The 1.3s in the range did not get it, so dia punya bontot memang botak habis dan nampak jauh lebih bulat daripada model 1.6. Another unique characteristic of the Satria Neo's design is of its exhaust. It's a center exit exhaust, which is a second seen in the Proton range after the Proton Savvy. This is very unique indeed, and especially if you pair it with the R3 rear muffler, which has a huge exit tip and a huge, nice, shiny muffler underneath, it really makes the Neo stand out. This I like. Moving inside the Proton Satria Neo, immediately you feel how compact this car is, or rather cramped if you use the other C word. And this is because the Neo is focused for one purpose only, which is for you to drive it. So everything is within reach, for my frame at least, whereby the doors and the seats and everything is within comfortable reach, and it also lands to that feeling of sportiness whereby you feel that the car is wrapped around you. So let's go from the top to the bottom. The windscreen seems to be a bit more raked down as compared to the old Satria, because even when I'm sitting and I'm not that tall, the windscreen sort of comes up nearly to my peripheral view or field of view, as compared to the older Satrias where it feels a little bit more spacious. So going from the top, going to the middle now, we see a lot of grey and silver plastic trims. It was reported that the Neo was slated to have cream interior like the Gen 2 CamPro. So good heavens that they did not proceed with that, because that would look so weird in a sporty car on the outside, but when you go in it's like a Bentley or something like that. So although this seems a bit monochrome, a bit monotonous with its grey and silver and black combo, I think it fits the car very well and lends to a more modern look. There was a review I read back then, I can't remember where, which said that this Proton logo looks a bit out of place because it's like suddenly here. Well, I think it's a very good marketing and branding opportunity because sometimes you take photos in the car and whatnot. This might appear in the background somewhere, sometime. Alright, looking forward, what I love about the Satria Neo is that the dials are really easy to read. It's analog and it has this shielding to shield it from glare from the sun. What is a bit not so nice is that the 110 mark, which is our highway speed, is nowhere to be seen here because it's 100 and then it goes up to 120. So 110 is just in between it. It's a bit hard to read when you are speeding on your little sporty hatchback. Moving down, the steering wheel, also a source of controversy as the wheels were, because many netizens commented that this wheel with its thick spokes and all that should not have been used in such a sporty car like this. I think they imagined something like the Gen 2 or the Savvy steering wheel with thinner spokes, or even a Momo steering altogether for special editions, which actually was a reality because the Satria Neo R3 of 2008 did not use this normal steering wheel. It had this aftermarket wheel with a big boss kit and whatnot. So yeah, fine over there. These Lotus design elements continue. This Fox Allen key design, which I told you of earlier on the fuel cap, which is also found on the gear console. Alright, moving to the middle, the aircon vents and the radio. Strangely enough, every time I look at the combination of two aircon vents and the radio, I'm being reminded of the garbage monster from Sesame Street. Two googly eyes and a huge mouth, which is a compliment because it's a very cute character. I like it, especially when this one has a big Android screen, which it's okay lah, keeping with the times. The earlier radio is seen here from Blaupunk or Blupunk, if you want to say it in its native language. And back then, this single DIN was the bee's knees, man. Look at that. It can take discs and it plays MP3 formats. Damn! So much for tech in 2006 and 2007, with a nice knob to increase your volume, nice seek buttons, and nice volume buttons. You don't find this in cars nowadays, especially this CD player. My god, this is very, very mid-2000s and a very good nostalgia. And this radio still works. It's just that it's not being used by the owner, and in fact, it still has the original plastic covering the screen, the protective plastic. Dia belum peel off lagi. There you go. A standard Satria Neo CamPro Blue radio. Nice. Alright, moving down, the three aircon dials, which are very tactile. As you're driving along, everything is within reach. You can just change your aircon settings without taking your eyes off the screen. Cars nowadays, my god, it's all in the screen. Very, very distracting and unsafe. Moving down lagi, this is the 480 gear lever, which is very tight in movement. And back here, there is this sword handle parking brake lever. Very unique. Also found in the Gen 2, in the Savvy and Protons of the same era. Storage space is a very, very premium thing over here because you don't find many of it here. It's very exquisite. You get two slots like this, as you can see. A few stuff like access cards and business cards will fill everything up very quickly. There's a 12-volt socket here, which I don't know, once you connect, you have to put your phone here kot, selit macam tu, and the wire goes macam ini. Okay lah, I mean, given the lack of space kan. Moving back would be the two most shallow cup holders that you will find in any car. It's really, really shallow. I can tell from my experience as well, whereby even if you put a little tin, it doesn't quite hold because it's huge and it doesn't go too deep into it. I want to touch a bit about the seats because previously I've only sat in the R3 seats, the CPS 2012 model and above punya seats, a bit more semi-bucketish in nature. So when I got into this car, I was expecting Pro Duo Viva levels of support where the seats kind of sag and, you know, not support you. But lo and behold, to my surprise, to my pleasant surprise, the side bolsters are still very firm, despite this car being nearly 16 years old. This is a 2009 model, and the seats have held up very nicely, and the seat back is supportive of my lower back, which is surprising. I don't think I will get lower back pain when I drive this car. Side bolstering is also adequate and firm, and in general, I was pleasantly surprised by the seats, though they look very utilitarian. Grey macam ni, macam Satria GTI punya kind Recaro, but it's actually very comfortable. Moving on to the back, there is size for, I would say, a 5'5" adult, and his knees won't be quite touching the front seat, but that is all. Go beyond 5'5" and koyak lah terus. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are now with Caden, who is the owner of this Satria Neo CamPro. Caden, thank you for taking your time this morning lah. Okay, anyway, it's a very nice place and a very nice car also. You know, it's been ages, you know, since I've seen a stock standard Neo CamPro.
Yeah, because normally they convert to either CPS or R3 bumpers lah.
True. Yeah, CPS, right? Because
Yeah.
the wheel arch is so easily screwed on, kan?
Yeah.
Hey, Caden, tell us about your ownership with this car. How long have you had it and how did you come to own this car?
So I think it has been around 1 year since I've had this car. I bought it because it looks cool lah. First things first, it looks cool lah, because 2 doors, right? It's quite rare in Malaysia to have a 2-door compact hatch lah. For a weekend car, it's fine. The handling is good. Yeah.
Yelah. I mean, CamPro engines are quite known to have not so good fuel consumption lah. But in a car like this, as you said lah, the handling is good and all that. Do you frequently take it out for drives on weekends and whatnot?
So funny story, currently this car is being driven daily by my mum. Yeah, because her car actually broke down, so she just used this car as a daily driver.
Okay, wow, that's one sporty mum indeed, man.
The only gripe I have about it is the fuel consumption and the power lah. It's really, the fuel consumption is really not that good for a daily car lah.
But I wonder lah, bro, you being a young guy and you having a sporty hatch, why is it still standard stock from the factory? Okay lah, I think most of you can relate, kan? Most of us can relate lah. But perhaps it's a blessing lah, because you know, if you're into cars and into the local car scene, you would appreciate something as stock and as rare as this, especially the rims, you know. It's really one of a kind lah, I would say. How do you care for this car?
It was at 120 something thousand kilometers, but now I think it's around 130 something, so it's not really been driven that much.
Okay.
In the past 1 year, but I've been through 1 oil change lah.
Okay. And since mom is driving the car, I can say we are in good hands lah.
I don't know about that. Due to it being such a compact car, it's easy to park, and the storage space is quite good for the car of this size lah.
I see. Yeah, it makes sense lah, because it's so stout and compact, you see. You take it to college?
Used to.
Used to?
Used to. But due to my college being on a hill and the fuel consumption being not that good, yeah, it's not a good idea to drive it up a hill for your daily lah.
Okay lah. It has an easier life lah at home.
Yeah.
Don't have to climb hills every day, right? How long do you foresee you taking care and ownership of this car?
I'm planning to change ownership lah, just sell the car as it is lah.
Okay.
Fuel consumption is really important for a college student like me lah, since
True.
our budget is not that big, right?
True. So anyhow, if you manage to snag yourself one of these, better be prepared to pay for fuel prices lah. But the trade-off is that you will get something which is, I would say, quite a unicorn in 2025 lah. So your future plans for this car would be to release it to someone whom hopefully takes care of the car as well as Caden does, because just look at the video. It's such a beautiful, well taken care of car. Anyway, Caden, thank you so much for spending a short morning with us. All the best in your studies and future endeavours, brother.
Thanks for coming from so far away.
My pleasure, and it's always nice to meet someone as nice as you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, guys. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, a short revisit of a Proton Satria Neo CamPro in 2025, 16 years after its initial launch. The Neo represented a new breed of Protons imbued with Lotus DNA, rigid chassis, fun-to-drive characteristics, and I would say Neo or new era of design, because even in 2025, it still looks timeless and elegant. Pada saya, Satria Neo merupakan sebuah rekaan yang paling berjaya dalam kalangan kereta-kereta Proton yang pernah keluar. So if you are in the market for a sporty hatchback, should you consider the Satria Neo? Well, if you don't care about fuel consumption too much, go for it, because it is, number one, a piece of Malaysian automotive history, not only with us as Malaysians, but also with Lotus, which is a famed sports car maker. Number two, it is rare to see one in standard form like this, especially with the bling bling wheels. And if you get it, I hope the other colors are still around. The Satria Neo was from the start kind of a raw hatchback to drive. Wind speeds, tire noise, road noise. If you are that kind of driver, it adds to your experience and you will enjoy it. So if you are getting one right now, I wish you a very pleasant new to you era of Satria Neo CamPro ownership.